Well, I think Bob's shown in his career, there are really two words I'd summarize it: ethics and integrity. And those sort of traits have been there throughout his very successful career. But Bob is also very comfortable on both Main Street and Wall Street. And I think we can see that in so many different ways. And even though his business, and his, $23 trillion US global business that he has, and with an iconic address of One Wall Street, there he is still very comfortable with his Nova Scotia roots, his St. Mary's roots on Main Street.
Bob has got a personality that radiates success and accomplishment. So I knew he was destined for bigger responsibilities, and it wasn't long before he was working on various projects with the Toronto-Dominion Bank, and then we'll look at him today as he moved up the ladder and then got involved in the U.S., leading banks, and today is president and CEO of New York Mellon Bank.
He had a goal ever since we got married. We've been married, we'll be married 30 years this December. And I remember the first year he said he would someday like to be CEO of a company. And so he just set that goal. He's an optimistic person who doesn't see barriers and just did the steps that he needed to do. And there was a little bit of luck thrown in, but a lot of planning and making sure he had the skills he needed, and it's worked out.
It's amazing to be watching the news and seeing President Obama call 8 of the leaders of financial institutions in the U.S. together to talk about what they're going to do about the crisis. And there's Bob Kelly on television, on national, international news, sitting with the president. And I know the bank that he's involved with, Bank of New York Mellon, is seen as one of the stronger financial institutions in the U.S. and in the world. And part of that's Bob is attributed, I think, to his background here in Canada in the financial markets and in the banking industry, and probably even right back to his roots here in Nova Scotia.
I think it's important to celebrate great Canadians, particularly Canadians that have occupied a very important place during what is the most significant economic crisis that our world has gone through in the last 50 or 60 years. And he has been one of the leading persons who has led the way out of that crisis. And he's a great global person, a great global citizen for doing that, a great Canadian, of course, and a fine Nova Scotian.
I think it's a combination of the talent and the way he presents stuff. Bob is very, I think that's sort of his Nova Scotia character. It's just, he tells the truth and people can believe him. He's believable. He's telling them what is the truth and what he thinks needs to be done. He has no hidden agenda. It's just transparency all the way. And sometimes that's hard to find when people just have their goal in mind.
What you're trying to do is also show to the youth, our future of this province, that here's somebody who's come from Nova Scotia and they've been able to achieve great things. And I think that is key, because it shows that he is a role model, but let's not lose sight of the fundamental values of trust, I think, that's there, integrity and ethics.
It's entirely consistent with what I perceive his philosophy to be, which is a very broad-minded philosophy, not just about business, not just about the world of finance, but about giving back to the community and making sure that the next generation maximizes its potential. And they need to have mentoring. They need to know what has gone before.
One of the great guys, really. It's just a remarkable story to be heading up one of the largest institutions in the world. It's just so much of a proof that if you really put your mind to it, you can do it.
One of the biggest things, aside from all of the success he's gotten to and all of the wonderful things that have happened, I'm proud that he's stayed true to himself. He's the same guy I married almost 30 years ago. He still has the same sense of humor. He's put family still up there, and we have always had him when we needed him. The kids, he has a great relationship with our children. That's probably the part I like the most. He's kind of stayed grounded.